Hi everyone, so today we're going to get into something that, let's be honest, drives us all a little crazy sometimes. That constant, noisy chatter inside our own heads. And to do that, we're going to tap into the incredibly wise but also super practical teachings of the great Thai forest master, Ajahn Chah. He had a real knack for calming that inner chaos. Okay, let's get right into it.
So let me just start by asking you this. Is your mind a restless monkey? Ajahn Chah loved this analogy. And it's just perfect, isn't it? The mind is always jumping around, from one branch to the next, grabbing this idea, then that worry, never ever sitting still. And if you know what monkeys are like, you can find a way to be at peace with them. The whole trick, as we're about to see, is to understand the monkey, so you don't end up becoming one yourself.
And this quote right here, wow, it just gets straight to the heart of everything. Notice what he's saying. It's not about fighting your thoughts. It's not even about wishing they'd go away. It's about this kind of radical, counterintuitive act of just watching and letting go. And if you can do that, the mind just settles down all by itself, back to how it's supposed to be. This is going to be our guide for the next few minutes.
All right, so first, let's really look at the problem. We're calling this section the overthinking mind. And here's the key idea, the real kicker. Most of the time, we suffer because of the stories we tell ourselves, not because of what's actually happening in reality. And this isn't some personal flaw, by the way. It's just what human minds tend to do.
In fact, there's a specific word for this, papancha. It's a Pali word, and it basically means mental proliferation. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that wild habit our mind has of taking one tiny little thing, a weird look from someone, a strange sound, and just spinning it out into this huge, elaborate, and usually stressful story. Suddenly we're trapped in this drama of good versus bad, all based on a tiny perception. Ajahn Chah tells this perfect little story to explain it. Imagine you have a nice, expensive pen. You pat your front shirt pocket, and it's not there. Now what happens? Instant panic, right? Your mind screams, "It's gone! I lost it forever! I'm so careless!" And you feel that suffering, that sinking feeling. But the whole time, the pen is just sitting in your back pocket. The suffering had nothing to do with reality. It was created 100% by your wrong thinking, by believing a story that just wasn't true. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? How do we get out of this mess? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. It's all about awakening what he calls the one who knows. And this isn't about adding some new skill. It's about a massive shift in your perspective. A shift from thinking you are your thoughts to realizing you're the one who is watching them. This awareness is called Buddho. Now, this isn't some mystical being. As Ajahn Chah puts it, it's just a refined kind of awareness that's a step removed from the thinking mind. Think about it. The mind thinks, it feels, it worries. But there's another part of you, the one who knows, that can just quietly observe all that mental activity without getting tangled up in it. The crazy thing is, it's already there. We just have to learn to tune into it. So how do you actually do this? It's really just a simple three-step recognition. Step 1. You notice the mind doing its thing. It's churning out thoughts, feelings, stories, just like it always does. Step 2. You recognize that there is a part of you, an awareness, that is just watching this whole show. And step 3, you start to identify with that calm, steady watcher instead of the chaotic show itself. That's the whole practice, right? And this chart just lays it out so clearly. The average, untrained mind just reacts. It gets totally lost in the drama. It believes, I am angry. But the refined mind, the one who knows, it just observes. It sees the thoughts for what they are, just temporary mental events. It lets the anger come, and it lets the anger go, without becoming it. Okay, now for the really fun part, the actual toolkit. Ajahn Chah was an absolute master of using these simple, earthy analogies that work like little mental hacks. They're designed to help us completely reframe how we see reality itself. Get ready for this one, because it's a real game changer. He tells a story about a glass. He says to look at a glass and see it is already broken. Why on earth would you do that? Well, because its nature is to be breakable. You can't stop it from breaking eventually. It's just a matter of time. The wisdom in this is just so deep. See, when you understand the brokenness in something that's still whole, you're not being negative or pessimistic. You're just being realistic. You're preparing your heart so that when the glass finally does break, it's not a shock. There's no suffering. You just think, of course. And this applies to everything, our stuff, our relationships, even our own bodies. Here's another one, and this is a sharp one. especially for those of us who tend to live in our heads. A vulture. It soars way up high in the sky. It looks so majestic, so sophisticated up there. But what does it eat? It eats dead, rotten things down on the ground. And the point he's making is just so brilliant, right? You can have the most complex, high-flying, intellectual thoughts. You can be a genius. But if your heart isn't pure, you're still just feeding on pettiness, on doubt, on agitation. Real wisdom isn't about how smart your thoughts are. It's about the state of your heart. Now, if you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. This is maybe the most powerful, practical tool he offers. It's a Thai phrase, mai ne, and it just means not for sure. Ajahn Chah literally said you should use this phrase to punch your moods in the face before they punch you. And look how simple it is to use. Whatever feeling comes up, no matter how strong, you just meet it with this quiet little reminder. You think, wow, this is the best feeling ever. And then you add, but it's not for sure. Or, oh, I hate this feeling so much, followed by, but it's not for sure. You're not denying the feeling. You're just denying its permanence, its absolute power over you. And that creates just enough space for you to find some peace. And all of this practice, this is where it leads. It leads to what we're calling finding the still forest pool. And the goal here isn't to achieve some kind of blissful, superhuman state. Nope. It's just about letting the mind come back home to its natural condition, which is already clear and peaceful.
Ajahn Chah has this brilliant way of explaining the difference between fake peace and real peace. He says temporary peace, that's like putting a big, heavy rock down on top of some weeds. Sure, the weeds are gone for now. They're just suppressed. The second you move that rock, they shoot right back up. But real peace, the peace that comes from wisdom, that's like taking the time to pull the weeds up by the roots completely.
And the beautiful thing is, after a while, you don't even have to try so hard anymore. Once those roots are gone, the mind just finds its own natural balance. The practice becomes automatic, thoughts come, feelings come, and they go. And you just remain steady, watching it all happen without any effort. And this is the final image I want to leave you with, the central metaphor for it all. A mind that's truly at peace is like a still forest pool. It reflects everything perfectly. The trees, the blue sky, the clouds drifting by. It reflects all of life's experiences, the good and the bad. But the water itself, it's never stained, it's never disturbed by any of those reflections. It just remains clear, calm, and deep. So I'm going to leave you with a question, a little piece of homework, if you will. Don't let this just be interesting information. Turn it into a practice. The very next time a really strong feeling or a nagging thought grabs you, just try it. Quietly, to yourself. Just label it, not for sure. So what is one thought, just one, that you can practice this with today?